It is now my pleasure to introduce this afternoon's commencement speaker. Professor C.J. Armstrong has served on the faculty of Concordia University full-time since 2010, teaching in Christ College and the Department of History. He received his PhD right here from the University of California, Irvine in the field of classics after pursuing studies at Washington University in St. Louis and Concordia Seminary in St. Louis, as well as at the University of Arizona. Professor Armstrong loves teaching at Concordia, where his interests in the ancient Mediterranean world, scholarship in literature and history, and raising scholars to engage in service to society and the church converge in his undergraduate and graduate classrooms. His service to the university includes directing the CUI Honors Program, as well as continuing in the conversations with faculty and students in our academic community, taking advantage of the opportunities provided by CUI's living learning communities, Cui Bono, and other liberal arts initiatives. Professor Armstrong also assists in the pastoral ministry of Holy Trinity Lutheran Church near his home in Rowland Heights, California. Please help me welcome Professor C.J. Armstrong to the lectern.
Thank you, President Krieger, for that generous welcome. And now I address you, regents, faculty, parents, and family here gathered, and especially the graduating class of 2019. We rejoice with you this day as things begin. A commencement is a beginning, an initiation, a start, an origin. The first step of things to come, things that commence from this point forward. And today, that origin of a life outside of undergraduate education, the life that some would call the real world, the life of vocation, the higher and honorable calling of a wise, honorable, and cultivated citizen in your home, your family, your business, church, your city and community, your state, your life that commences today, day one. And while commencements and commencement speeches are fraught with meditation on that day one and day two and days ever after until the cows come home, leading some in my position to offer advice, like keep your partying tonight at a moderate level, because what might seem okay on May 4th, you don't want to face the revenge of the 5th, right? No. That's not a good joke. We've got to wait. I am a practitioner of law and gospel who's seasoned enough to know that you'll be hearing advice aplenty, and congratulation cards and pats on the back that come with a reminder that this is what you should do next. And then this is what you ought to do then and must think about and had better remember, and such things are lessons of the law. They have their place, of course, but because you have heard and will hear so much of that over the course of the next day and year, I plan to carve out the space of just a few minutes to talk not about you and what you're supposed to do and think and say in your future, but rather dwell on what is right now at your origin, at your commencement, and has been since you became a human being, at the origin and commencement of your life. I want to talk today about honor. And I want you to believe that you possess it, because Western civilization has frankly confused you, placed you in a ghostly kind of peril, a phantom kind of menace. I'm not talking about my class in Western civilization. That confused enough of you, I know. I hope that I tried to tease out some of that confusion, which is that for the last 20 to 40 years of your life, you've been told to be all that you can be. Strive for number one. Get the grade. Make the mark. But at the same time, you've been told to keep your head down. Don't get too big for your britches. Remember humility. Don't get a big head. That would be confusing for a 5-year-old. It's confusing enough for a 25-year-old. But this kind of doublespeak is not the product of a sinister plan, no attack of the clones. It's largely the product of a heritage of the ancient Greeks and their view of glory and fame mashed up with the wave of Judeo-Christian history, all wrapped up in the love of God in Christ, all served up to you as an inheritor of this Western tradition. Congratulations. It means we think about honor in a couple of fundamentally paradoxical ways. When I graduated from the University of Arizona, I did so, as many of you will do in just a few moments, with Latin words for honors at the end of my diploma. Cum laude, magna cum laude, summa cum laude, which in my case translates from the ancient tongue as, boy, you were really good at school. I graduated with other honors and distinctions too, from that and other schools, stoles, medallions, lines on my resume and curriculum vitae. But graduating with honors and recognitions is not what I mean today by honor. Honor is one of those words that's undergone some changes over the years, and we use it primarily in our language these days to convey what people think of you, a measure of esteem or commendation, awarding you for a job well done. We honor our athletes. We honor our artists. We honor our achievers with prizes and pats on the back. We make much of their merit and proudly promote their positions. But honor, as I mean you to believe it and trust that you have it, is more than that. And we lose something important if we simply single out as special those scholars and citizens whose contributions are so extraordinary that we say, that's honor. The problem with honor is that its synonym, respect, is etymologically connected to seeing and gazing. It's about what you see in other people and what other people see in you, to make sure that you're coming out looking good, or at least better than your compatriots as you compare yourself and get compared by others. It's about competition. It's agonistic. It's that ancient Greek arrogant side of be all that you can be, so that you can get the glory which is in short supply, a precious but limited resource that not everyone can have. And that's not what I mean by honor. That's being spoken well of. That, in a word, is fame. But what I'm saying is that from the beginning, from your commencement and throughout all your education, for all our training in virtue, honor is something that you possess in unlimited supply by virtue of our willingness simply to do what is right. For a moment, let's regain what honor actually is by hearing again what's at the root of you, what's been at the root of you since the commencement of you into the world, what grips you, what motivates you to take action, to take certain actions, and to abstain from others. Honor has less to do with how you see other people or how other people see you, and more to do with what's inside of you, to use your powers for good, and how that daily decision makes you a part of your peer group, a colleague in your community. This is no solo job. The ones who understand this best, I think, are those students who have served in the armed forces, or after this graduation plan to. You may think to yourself, come on, Dr. Armstrong, that sounds pretty milquetoast. Are you saying that everyone's special because they have something deep down inside of them? Jesus' special little sunbeam sounds pretty kindergarten to me. After all, The Incredibles taught me that if everyone's special, no one is. Aha, I say. Yes, and you've heard that talk before. Whenever I talk to students and give the you're not special, you're not smart talk. But it comes to the same thing. Namely, that in the last 20 to 40 years of your life in Western civilization, you've been shaped to think that striving for the ideal means climbing to number one, getting your 15 minutes of fame or your 8 seconds of YouTube infamy, to be noticed, to be gazed at, to win. And indeed, fame, that pat on the back, the position of preeminence, the being thought well of by others and by yourself. Fame is something. Fame is that position of preeminence. Fame is something which must be won. Honor, on the other hand, dear friends, honor is something that you have. Honor for yourself, for those around you, for this beloved institution. Honor is something that can only be lost. Fame can only be won. Honor can only be lost. And the loss of fame is just obscurity. And I know a thing or two about obscurity. I deal with ancient languages and fragments and history and literature and the thought of people who aren't just kind of dead. They aren't just mostly dead, they're really dead, like 2,000 years dead. I know something about obscurity. And it's not half bad to be obscure when you think about it. There's fewer meetings and committee assignments, for one thing. Fame can only be won, and honor can only be lost. The loss of fame is simply obscurity, but the loss of honor, my dear friends, the loss of honor is shame. The more people are famous, the less special fame is. But honor, as one philosopher put it once, honor is something which we are able and ready to share with everyone. It doesn't die. It doesn't accrue more. It's what you start with, it's what you commence with, and it's what you possess here, right now, day one. And you've had it all along. What'll you do with it? Wise, honorable, and cultivated citizens? There is honor in learning things that you didn't know before. There is honor in making goals and achieving them. There's honor in serving your neighbor and serving your God, but as I said, I won't offer lessons for yourself. But I can talk about me for just a minute more. What is my honor? What is my motivating factor that confirms my decision to act day by day the way I do? To enter a classroom and spray pedagogy all over the walls and eliminate ignorance wherever I find it. Pew, pew. What is my motivation? To sit day after day, year after year with adults like you in my office and use my powers for good when I'm rejoicing with you or when I'm weeping with you for your pride, for your shame, for your infamy, or for your fame, arguing or teaching me things that I didn't know before. It's not magic, and it's not just my drive to entertain myself. The motivation, my honor, is sitting right here in front of you. It's these men and women who for these 4 years have encouraged me to use my powers for good, to use your powers for good. What motivates me to serve the way that I serve? It's these 100 people celebrating you today, and these thousands applauding and celebrating you this weekend. What motivates me to serve the way that I serve? Dear friends, as a faculty addresser, I say with sincerity that I have the honor of teaching beside these 100 faculty. I have the honor of serving you, serving my discipline, serving my Lord, discharging my duty. Because this inspires me. It gives me a new hope. And I'm a skeptic, but I think this is sufficient to inspire you too. I'm talking to my faculty. I'm talking to my students. I'm talking to my undergraduates who today are no longer students, but peers of a certain class and caliber, wise, honorable, and cultivated citizens. And so I simply conclude by speaking on their behalf, on behalf of the faculty. It is our honor to honor the graduating class of 2019. May the 4th be with you always.